beautiful people, welcome to Altcoin Daily with Bitcoin Gorilla, and today I will be breaking down Ethereum price. We're going to be reviewing Ethereum price on a multi-time frame. We're going to be looking at the monthly chart, the weekly chart, the daily chart, and the intraday chart. So whatever time frame you trade, whether you be a long-term investor, whether you be a swing trader, a scalper, whatever you're doing, this is going to benefit you on all time frame, because this is going to be a deep multi-time frame analysis, and I do not use indicator, so it's going to be simple price action using the Bitcoin Gorilla box. I developed this, I created this strategy myself, and I'll be using it in this video. So thank you for joining me in this video. Let's start by me first of all drawing the most important support and resistance in the chart. So we're going to also be looking at the candlesticks and making sense of what the candlesticks alone talks about on the monthly chart, because whatever we're doing, we want to make sure that the weekly chart, the monthly chart, and at least the daily chart is in correspondence and agreement with it. So I'm going to start by drawing the chart. So what I'm getting are the most important support and resistance, those levels on the chart that the bulls did get interrupted. So these are the most in your face kind of ones. So with that, it's like a skeleton that built the whole strategy up. So now I can go ahead and bring the box strategy. I'm going to use red for that. I'm going to try to get a support. So this box strategy, I built it just based on simple price action. So it's very easy for you, and if you want to learn more about it, I do take students because I'm growing a family that trade this box with me on daily. As I grow, they grow with me. Is a lifetime membership to join Makaveli traders, but currently I'm not taking students until probably around May. It will be open. So access is only open 3 times a year. Limited number of people, that's what I'm taking, because it's a lifetime access. After I'm done training you, I'll be your mentor for life, and you're going to trade with me daily. Now, it's not every day that this market makes availability of good moves, right? So it's not every day that you're going to see good moves. So I share with you the days that I see good moves. That is, I am very, very skeptical about, I filter my trades. I don't just trade any market. So I am a very patient trader, and because I am a high leverage trader, I think this needs to move a little bit up to this point. Yes. Yeah, something like that. Okay, now let me try and get the control line. If you want to see me in action in trading, you need to come and join Makaveli Traders. Then you have the opportunity to trade with me for a lifetime. I don't know if that color is very obvious. I don't know if you can see it. So let's change it to sky blue. Yeah. So that line is our control line. So take note of that. This is the weekly chart. Now I am going to first start the analysis by looking at the monthly chart. So this is a monthly chart. I'm going to take away all the drawings. So let's make sense of just the plain candlesticks. I love candlesticks. Without them, you won't really be able to have the indicators and other things, because all of them are depending on the candlesticks, and the candlesticks tells you the amount of sellers that enter the market and the amount of buyers that enter the market, and what the outcome was on the previous day or the previous time period. So we're going to use history to make sense of what is happening today, so that we'll be able to forecast what is going to happen tomorrow. So this forecast is going to be what is likely going to play out for the rest of April all the way to May, right? So the spring, right? So the candles here are quite very interesting. I see that there was a sideways movement. I love this. I like when market is in a sideways, because it creates opportunity for you to be able to buy on a good support. So whenever they are on sideways, it means there's equilibrium between buyers and sellers. So at some point, one side will overcome the other side, leading market. So if bulls and buyers are exchanging the coin goes from buyers to sellers, from buyer to sellers. If their capital, the capital that is entering the market and the amount of people willing to sell are in equilibrium, you find that the market will make something like this. So market will be stuck in an area, something like this, until one party overcomes another. So there are two teams in this whole thing. So until if the buyers overcome the sellers, then we have situations playing out like this. That is what we call the breakout. They'll break out from that sideways market or consolidation, and they will move up, right? So leading them into the stage 2 of the price action life cycle. Now, the good important thing about this is this sideways movement gives you the opportunity to even join a moving trend, a moving like this particular point. This point that we had this sideways was an opportunity for you to join if you miss out buying here. So this is an opportunity for you to buy more and put your stop loss. Now, why I'm saying this is because obviously if you look closely, you're going to notice that what we are having right now is very similar to what we had here. But let's not jump into conclusion yet, because as candlesticks, we need to go further into breaking them down and then trying to compare them on multiple time frames to see the outcome we're going to get. So first thing first is these 3 candles is a clear bullish candles. It's called 3-bar reversals, which is very good because this other one, this third candle, managed to magically close above these other candles, this inside bar, because it's an inside bar. Why is it an inside bar? It's an inside bar because of this candle, this red candle. It could not break below it and it could not break above it, so making it a what? An inside bar. You can see it. It stopped right there. So you can see the price stopped right here, while this is here and here. So it didn't go above it and it couldn't go below the previous candle, leading it to be what? Inside bar. The previous candle completely engulfed this next candle. Now the beautiful thing is that is a sign of a sideways market, of which if we go to lower time frame, you're going to experience that the month of March was like a sideways movement, like market was like this. This is what caused this candle. That's what the candle represents, a sideways market. It's stuck inside excuse me, it's stuck inside the previous bar, right? So a sideways market did occur in the month of March. Now if we look again, we see did I say the month of March? Sorry, the month of February, because this is March. This is March, my apologies, and this is month of February. So March was a sideways market. We neither went below the last dump or we went also above it. None of them happened. But on the month of March, something actually did change, because somehow these bulls magically stays above, keeping bull market structure. So higher lows. Just like here, you can see when they pull back, they make sure they maintain the higher lows of the market. Now this is monthly chart, so each candle played out for an entire month, so don't underrate each candle. It might be a big swing on a daily candle or 4 hours candle, so don't underrate any candle on this monthly chart. A lot of money did enter the market during this period. So but the good thing is the bulls somehow after this last low magically kept the sellers from going below each low of each candle, which is a beautiful thing, because they ended up using forming a new high, right? So if I look since the dump started from this candle, this candle is lower than the previous candle, this one is lower than the previous candle, this one is lower than the previous candle, but this candle managed to magically break that structure and somehow it just pierced it. So it pierced it, but it didn't close above it, but it's a good thing. So like I said, this will affect the coming month candle. So the goal is somehow we have to take note that the entire candles that are here are yet to break above this candle and below this candle, which is very important because they will make an attempt. So far so good. The push seems to be the one making attempts because the push keeps going to the upside. So the pressure is on the upside based on the candles we're seeing on the monthly. So the pressure is on the more upside. So the question now remains, will they make it? Because the resistance is around 4,000. The resistance is around $4,000, right? Will they make it above it? Because currently they are trading at 3,200, right? Range between 3,200 and 3,300 range. Can they close above 4,000? So April, we have to make that decision. But also, as long as they are in within this red candle, chances are also high that they could push down. So don't ignore that. Chances are high that they could push down. So it's more like we are in a sideways market as long as all these candles are still within this candle. At least that's what the candles are saying. So that's not me, that's the candles, right? So now that we have a little overview of what the monthly candle is saying, now for the sake of those people who are holding Ethereum for quite some time, I will tell you the move to the upside is not over on Ethereum. So the monthly candle is still very bullish. And why will I say that? So I want us to do this. I want us to just pick some few trend line and see if we can connect and join what we're seeing with what we heard from the just a few trend line. I want to see what we can get out of this. Even if I made it an expanding channel, let's just see what we can make out of it. I want to see what this can be like. Okay, I just wanted to get something, so I'm going to stick that all the way out. So I'm going to go back now and we're going to dive into our box. Why did I did what I did? I did that because I was trying to make sense of what happened if we could get a connection between this guy and this guy. So I was trying to see if there was a channel that they could go out and then complete this channel, but it just looks like an expanding channel and it doesn't make much sense. That's why I did not go further into it, but I'll still explain what I'm explaining now. Let's try to make sense of the chart using the Bitcoin Gorilla box strategy. So from here, the interpretation I'm going to make is going to be based on the box. So on the box, I have obviously two boxes here, of which this is one, the bigger box. Now this big box represents the weekly and the monthly, right? And then I have again this one. So this particular one represents the intradays, the daily and the rest, right? So for now, at least this is where price is currently trading at. Price is currently at this range, and this is why. So in this range, the first box I drew, this is the support. This is where the major buyers are, right? And this is where the major sellers are, right? Now the hefty ones who are likely going to cause a change in the market are lying in these two environments. Now in the intraday, we also have, after the boss, there is obviously the assistants or probably second in command. So the second in command when it comes to strong buy are here, right? They are currently positioning right here. So you have to first of all get through these guys before you get through this guy. If you can't get through these guys, you won't be able to get through these guys. So that's how it works. You have to pass through the junior to get to the senior, and this particular support is a strong all-time support. That is why they were able to accumulate a long time on it and were able to get that force. You can see the reaction was quite a strong one, so take note of that. Now after that, the next thing is my resistance. So this is the resistance of the second in command, and this is the resistance of the bigger one. You have to first get through the second in command to be able to get to the big one. So with that explanation, I just give you a brief overview so that you understand that when my explanation starts. So I'm going to start now by looking at the weekly and what is happening. So what is happening is we are currently in the territory of the second in command, which means somehow we're going to find it challenging to get out of that place. A good example of such challenges, you can see since they arrive at this point, they have not really had a smooth move. They keep coming back. Why are they coming back? Well, I'm going to say something. The resistance area is very important. You can see the rejection, and something like that is likely already reacting currently right now. So what does that mean for us? What this means is that we could still see more pullback, right? So according to this chart, we could still see if this candle right now close below this line, if the current weekly candle close below this line, this is a clear, I love looking at the candles because I told you this is pure price action, so I make sense of what the candles are saying as well as what the box is saying. So this is a 3 white soldiers, a good bullish candle. They are all full grown. A good example is this is them right here, right? This is them right here. In fact, this one I don't want to consider it because it has big wicks. The one we're dealing with right now, has big, clear, grown body candles, which is very important, right? Full body candles, which means that the bulls did use a strong force to break a seller line. So the question is, can we try to locate the seller line? This seller line will be very easy to locate more on the daily chart. So I'll draw the seller line when we're dealing with the daily chart because it will be very easy, but I can still bring it now for you to see, but you'll make more sense of it by the time we're talking about the daily chart. So this is the seller line that I'm seeing. So you can see they use a strong force to overcome the seller line, and so the seller line is like that point where price keeps reacting and going down each time they hit it. You can see multiple times. We're going to make sense of it more on the daily chart, but they did use a strong force to break it. But there's no coincidence because again, the point that was actually holding them down for a long time is my what control line. Remember this blue line that I said I was going to get the control line is the control line that was holding them. So where they are right now, the move to the upside is likely not over, but the pullback is needed so that they will retest the breakout of what happened here. So on the weekly, the move to the upside is not over because they are going to still go to that 4,000 and they could even see above it. We're going to look closely. Let's look at the daily. So here's what I do see. I do still see them likely doing this 2,800 for a retest. For a retest, it's very possible, but this focus is going to make more sense. I don't want to say this. It's going to be a strong one. It's going to be a strong one. Why I say it's going to be a strong one is because I am just noticing something. I don't want to jump into that conclusion. They've already, first of all, attempted this point before. You can see right here. They've attempted this point before. So even if they pull back, they are likely not going to fall below that 2,800. So I'm trying to see the worst case scenario, because chances are high that the new candle will attack this. So soon they could enter into this range, this my resistance area, because that is their goal, is to enter the resistance area. But the pullback could stretch a little more, right? So we could have this candle move a little more down, but the weekly chart right now is projecting that on a weekly run, the move is not done. We are likely going to see 4,000 still. Yes, 4,000 is still very possible. So I could get this measured move of this by the time they break above it. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. That's very interesting. Ethereum is still very bullish, I must tell you. Ethereum is still very bullish. But let's not jump into conclusions. Not yet. Let's look at daily chart. Weekly chart for now is still bullish. It means that we are likely going to still see a move up. But where we are, if the pressure continues, they will just push them down a little. At worst case scenario, like I said, 2000 watts, 800. At worst case scenario, this is where they will stop. The upward side is more favorable right now. But let's stay open-minded. Let's just stay open-minded. So let's take it down to the daily chart. Okay, this is going to help us make better sense of what is happening, because I remember telling you that the seller's line is going to become more clearly on the daily chart. Remember, I drew it on weekly, but this is how the chart is looking on the daily. So let's zoom in and make more sense of this chart, because now it is going to get more interesting. For those who are holding for a long time, trust me, the weekly is still very bullish. So holding your position is a good idea. It's not yet time to run, except if you are intraday trading and you are swinging or just swinging a little swing, then you might want to pay attention to this aspect. For the weekly, is saying that those who bought are still safe. If you bought anywhere around here on spot or anywhere around this zone, your position is still safe. So the move, at worst case scenario, we're just going to get this pullback to land on this zone, right, before the move continue. So I want to stay open-minded. Before I jump into it, I'll stay open-minded. I want to really stay open-minded. I like staying open-minded. I am seeing something. That's why I'm telling myself to stay right now open-minded. So let's look at what I'm saying. Let's just look at this chart. Since their return, this is their first time of touching this point. It is very important. Very, very important. This is their first time of touching this point, and this is their second time of returning, right? So let's just say that they hold this 4 hours, because I know there's a 4 hours box that I can use to contain this sideways. Remember, I said something on the monthly. I said that the inside bar is the cause of a sideways movement on a lower time frame. Now this is the movement, this is the sideways, this is the inside bar cause. So this was our red candle, the mother bar, and causing this particular range from this point to this point, and the inside bar has been the one struggling to leave that mother range. So remember what I said on the monthly. So that is what the inside bar. So we are trying to make sense of the inside bar to see what direction will it favor the price to break out of. Is it going to favor them to break out to the upside of the mother bar? The mother bar is the big red candle. Let's even take it back so you make sense of what I'm trying to say. So the question is this. I say the sideways is caused by this candle, right? So you can see this is the mother bar, this particular red one here. So this is where the top is at 4,000 range, and the bottom is at what, 2,200. So the question of what we're going to find out in the intraday, the daily chart, and the 4 hours is to enable us see more candlesticks, so that more history, so that we can make sense of how, because just looking at 2 candles, I can't really tell you. Anything can happen when you see an inside bar. An inside bar can break to the upside, it can break to the downside. I'm going to be very honest with you. This analysis, I don't sugarcoat. What you do with it is up to you. After it, this is no financial advice, but I'll tell you exactly what I am saying. An inside bar can break to the upside or the downside. It is possible on any direction, depending on where the pressure is going more at. So when we now go back to for our daily chart, the box I'm talking about, this particular range is what is going to help me determine where the more pressure is, whether the more pressure is on the upside or the pressure is more on the downside. I'm going to actually tell you more. So this is going to be easier for us to make sense of when we look at 4 hours. So I'm going to draw a mini box inside to contain that inside bar. and see what happened. So I'm going to zoom in. Now even if you're going to trade this chart, trust me, you won't be that zoomed out as we did. It's because we're trying to get more data. If you're going to trade this chart, you'll be somehow probably zoomed in this much. So you can see this is our chart. We draw all this in the weekly chart, but this is the 4 hours. So what I'm going to do is, let's make sense of what happened in this range. It will help us determine where the breakout is going to continue. Sorry, the entire of this range, it starts from here. So that's what we're trying to make sense of. So I'm going to bring the Bitcoin Gorilla Box strategy to help us make sense of what actually happened. Why am I starting it here? I'm starting it here because that's the last point that led to the after the dive down. What I'm looking at, this is 1 and this is 2. So this is where they first touch since they are down move, and this is the second touch. So those start my box. Should we use now? Alright, hopefully you can still see that. Don't worry, if you were to trade this chart, trust me, you won't be this zoomed out. I'm looking for where we have more touches. Okay, I think that would be more better. Let's use what color this time around. Alright. I like that color. I want a color that will help us make sense of all of this. So let's use white for this. So you're seeing that. So let me zoom in. Okay. Alright. So let's make sense of what went on here. So first of all, remember this seller's line. Remember this line. Let's first talk about the seller's line. This is 4 hours chart. Let's talk about the seller's line. A very important line they kept respecting each time they hit it. Even here, there was what a fake out. More like a fake out, and they returned back, and you can see, why do I call it a fake out? You can see the reaction after it was a complete disaster. When they fake out, a lot of people will fall for the fake out, but what happened next? You can see the reaction, and fake out always goes like that. If they break out on the wrong side, they will take reverse and make equal move to the downside. So if they make this move to the upside, then their breakout is here, so they will make this equal move to this downside. That's what happened. So always take note of fake out. So the fake out really says a lot about the intentions of the buyers. They completely took themselves out, fooling a lot of people, especially the sellers, the hidden sellers. But again, the sellers kept maintaining that line, right? So we can see each time price comes to it, price falls multiple times. Then all of a sudden, magically, we had a breakout. But then before the breakout, this is now where the box that I just drew now is going to start making sense to you, because inside the box you can also see the reaction, and this is where they broke it out here. Here there was an attempt to break out, but it was a fake out, and you can see the reaction dropped down before they now went out. Now here's what I want you to look at this particular point, is the fact that they have broken outside my box, which my box says that after a breakout there was a retest, and there's no coincidence that the retest is actually the tip of the daily box. Remember, this is the 4 hours box, this is the 4 hours box, right? And the bigger box inside the 4 hours box is the daily box, so the 4 hours is telling me that we just hit the daily resistance area. So what we are having is a retest of the broken 4 hours, which is a good thing, because if in the past this entire area was a resistance, then they broke above it, then it should be now a support. Broken resistance automatically turns into a support. But remember, it is the entire of this range. Why did I say it is the entire of that range? Remember this reaction? When they were going down, you can see that there's no coincidence. They went through the same thing when they were going up, right? So that break is likely going to make them make the same thing. Maybe they will go like this, and again they could return, something like that, before they now take the dive up, right? So if the bulls, like the monthly chart says, that they will continue because I said something, I said let me not jump into concluding that the pullback will extend itself, because something important is playing based on my box. My box is telling me don't be overconfident of shorting the market just yet. You will get confidence about shorting this market after they've crossed below probably 3,000 or 3,000. Yes, because if they cross below 3,000, they will definitely make it to 2,800. So for now, the bullish pressure is likely going to grow. The deeper they enter this range, the stronger the bulls will react. I don't know if you understand, because this is their previous broken resistance. They want to stand on it, but like I said, instead of putting multiple lines, no, I don't want to put multiple lines. I treat that area as a range. So as far as prices within this range, you can, if you enter the market around this range, then your stop loss will be around here, right, below the resistance range, right? But for me, the best place to buy my box is always the bottom of my box. But if you are catching a breakout, which is a retest, definitely is not going to return to the bottom of the box. But I want you to stay open-minded. Why do I want you to stay open-minded? What if we are having a deeper retest? I like staying open-minded because if this box rejects price around this range, is a disaster, or around this line, this particular line. Let's say they move all the way up and they get to that 3,400 and they get rejected, yeah, and they get rejected, or they even stop at this current, where we are currently is even a very taxi place for them to overcome. But that is if they are not serious about the breakout they just had. If it was a fake out, because I always like staying open-minded about fake out. The reason why I stay minded is when there is a fake out, my box too experience a fake out, but it will warn me ahead of time that is a fake out. Why? Because anything that breaks below this box is a fake out. What? Anything that enters my box will head to the bottom. So if they break below here, they will head here. They could get to the control line. Don't ignore the control line, because if the buyers are above it, they want to sit on it and get a bounce. So they could get to the control line and try this my box again. And if they fail to break above the box, then they will find themselves diving all the way to the bottom of my box. So that's what the fake out will look like. So the fake out will completely return them to this point. But it's not far anyway. So if you bought somewhere around here, it's just that you lose the profit you've already seen, right? You return them to this point. At worst, they will stop at 2,200, because that's again a double. I don't even see that happen. I just see them returning to this point, and I just noticed something. Did you see that? Did you see this? This point that I just talked about. This our line is a line I drew on the weekly. This line is a line I drew on the weekly. This line. And there's no coincidence. It is also coinciding with our box. So our boss is calling that point as an area of importance if it turns out to be a fake out. So a warning ahead of time. I already know if what I see, I know to get out of the market. So if I see a further break, already there is a break in market structure here. This is a break in market structure. It has been holding what? Higher highs, higher lows. But until this point where we have a fresh low broken, which means if it was a fake out, it just means, why is it going to be a fake out? It is possible that it will be a fake out because there's a strong sellers riding right here. Remember, this is this daily chart resistance area. So it means strong sell-off is others are lying around this range, which will force that fake out to return to this point. Like I said, stay open-minded. so that you see when this video is something you can always rewatch, because this I see playing throughout the spring. So that is the worst case scenario I'm seeing. But what if everything goes goodies? What if everything works out good? Then if everything works out good, then the bulls will magically, even if they push them further here, they will still not get past this point. But already they are inside my previous resistance, so they are getting the buy pressure. That's why you're seeing here reaction, right? They are getting the first time they came and touched it, you can see the reaction was quite strong. This is the second time they come to touch it, and again they are already getting a reaction because they are inside that range. So where they are is a point where money can accumulate, but they could push them further down. Stay open-minded, they could push them further down. This is determined a lot with BTC, and I've done BTC analysis, and I'm uploading it currently, and the analysis talked about we getting a little pushback to around 42k, at worst 40k. So if that happens, Ethereum itself is going to get a little pushback to at least 30k, right? $3,000. The thing about this whole entire thing is the fact that it is still bullish on the higher time frame, and the higher time frame are mostly in charge. What we're having on this higher time frame is just a pullback, right? So this is what the daily is saying. So what if it holds? So if it holds, here's what I say. If it holds, then we're going to get a target of this move. So if the move between this, as price is trading within this range, you're already seeing a side. So what I'm saying is likely going to happen is we could see a sideways. So we could see something like this, or it could die and then something like this, and then they will move, right? We could see something like that, and that could even force them to touch the bottom of here. So they will now move. This is needed for the strength. So this, when such a thing happens, is just like what happened here. You can see they tried to make it up before, so when they failed, they had to return to accumulate the strength to help them overcome it when they return. So we're going to see that kind of thing happening. So if the bulls keep their strength, things are likely going to change. And here's what I see coming, right? According to the box, they will accumulate around this zone. So they will start forming a sideways market, and this sideways market will cause a back and forth movement within the price range of 3,400 to 3,000. So that $400 range. So they will make that move, and within this price they will get that stable point to accumulate enough capital needed, because it's capital that is needed. Why is this accumulation going on? Because the sellers that are selling this point, the sellers that are all lying around this resistance area of the daily chart are strong, and they will need more capital to overcome their orders, right? So these buyers are likely going to keep entering this market around this range, and if their capital somehow destabilize the equilibrium and they overcome the sellers, then price will be forced to go up to seek for more sellers, because it will exhaust all the sellers who are currently selling here, and it will force a move to that 4,000. Now I do see another reaction around 4,000 to 4,200, or at worst 4,400. Why I say 4,400? Let's just say we don't know the amount of capital that is going to enter Ethereum at this point, because a previous resistance is turning into support. So a lot of people who missed the opportunity, who were scared of buying here because they believe that the price is going to dump more, are likely going to be the ones who will want to come in to buy now that the price is trying to get stable. Now this is very important, because if this happens, then it will make that move to that $4,000. So this is what the daily chart is saying. This chart is going to need a little patience for you because of the sideways. So we're going to experience this few sideways, the remaining, especially until we're able to clear the monthly chart mother bar, until we're able to get either above $4,000 or below 2,200. That's for monthly, but I do see it actually taking the move to the upside. Why? There is pressure growing. How? This is monthly chart, and monthly chart has touched the support once, it has touched it twice. This is a support, mind you, so it has touched it once, it has touched it twice, but I see in multiple attempts. So if I zoom in, so that you have a better view of that. So I'm going to zoom in. So you're going to see this. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this is good because each move they push to the upside is an attack to this. You can see the first time they were threatening them, they never made it close, but this time around they really touched them. They really touched the tip of that seller's area, which is going to actually force a strong movement. This is why I strongly believe that these people could return here. That's why I say to stay open-minded. So if you see them going below $3,000, expect further push down, because why? It is the first time they are returning to touch this seller's line, and these sellers are going to react forcefully. That's why we are having this push down. So if that happens, stay open-minded. But again, who knows? It's just that I'm seeing a little change, a little change in the move. So the pullback has been very little in the past, just few candles, but why all of a sudden we're having a stronger pullback? So I like paying attention to details, especially when I see change in the market. It tells you a lot about something that is going on that you're not seeing. Because here's the thing: since they started the move, I'm trying to show you something now. Since they started the move from here, right up, right, the pullback was just one candle, just 2 candles. Now we're having deeper pullback that has broken the market structure. This is a threat. So these bulls need to somehow find their way of holding this entire range, or else they will find themselves back here. So I want you to stay open-minded. But I think before then, I would have come to update you. And if you will end up liking this strategy and my style, please don't forget to subscribe and like and share this video to someone who you know is holding Ethereum or who loves trading Ethereum, who want to hear about this. And if you want to learn more about Makaveli Traders is where you trade live with me. So this Bitcoin Gorilla strategy, I share my trade. Now I don't give signals, but I'm open and I share my trade. And I know it's not every day this market is tradable, so when I'm trading, I share my trade. The reason is because it keeps me going. It keeps me to be able to know that I have people that are looking up to me and we're growing together. So I'm learning and I'm growing steadily with my family. If you want to learn more about Makaveli Traders, when you come into the family, I'm going to give you. Now, the last time I talked about it being 3 months training. Now I have cut it short because time is no longer on my side. I noticed that the 3 months has not given me time to be here and make more videos. You can notice the past 3 months and so I've not been able to make so much videos because my attention is divided between Makaveli Traders new student and making videos and as well trading. Because the reason you might wonder, do I still trade with all this? Yes, I trade. This is why I trade with the family. But I understand that this market is not every day you can trade. So probably the whole entire of this is not all the time you trade. I look at the market and I only take opportunities that are guaranteed over 65% to 75% chances of playing out, because I'm a high leverage trader and thanks to my Bitcoin Gorilla box and the laws that are used in trading. So we have trading laws which Makaveli Traders use. This helps us control liquidation. In fact, if you come to Makaveli Traders, you're not going to see liquidations no more, and it's going to help you improve because you're going to trade live with me. I will share my trade, I will share the entry, I will tell you when I'm taking profit. I will even share the profit with you, because not just me having the profit, you will be riding with me on every coin in futures. I am Bitcoin Gorilla. If you've enjoyed this strategy, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and happy trading.